Welcome, everybody, to the Sunday edition of the Huddle Hub podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and it would be good if I took my camera cover off. It's been a morning already. Woke up late today. I just wanted to sleep in. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just wanted to sleep in. I knew I had to be here at 11 o'clock, but I just wanted to sleep in. That's why we're late today. Simple as that. It's been a pretty stressful week. So for me personally, but I still am going to be here because gotta stay on track, right? Gotta stay on schedule, gotta stay on track with doing things, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm here for you guys when a show is supposed to happen. So yeah. So I slept in today, and now we're here. Guys, we're gonna do our next installment of Player Spotlight today. We got a defensive player. Okay. Now, I did not announce to you guys on the Tuesday episode what player that was going to be because I mentioned we're going to go defense, right? Well, the thing is I kind of waited until 2 days ago to put together this player spotlight, so I had to do it fairly quick. I couldn't do a player that has been a lengthy career. I had to do somebody that's a current player but had a decently long career, right? So I think it's very fitting for our first defensive player to be Myles Garrett. Okay, that's going to be our player spotlight today. Our first defensive player in the player spotlight segment, Myles Garrett. Okay, now I know he's a current player, and like I said, the player spotlight segment is for the players from the past and the present, and we are highlighting their careers. Well, Myles Garrett has had one hell of a career since being drafted in 2017. So we're gonna highlight him today. We're gonna spotlight him in the player spotlight segment. We're also going to talk about all the news coming out of the world of football. But before we get into everything, why is this not working? Why isn't this working? There we go. Before we get into everything, make sure you head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on social media, over on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that follow button over on the YouTube. You're going to hit that subscribe button. That's how you follow on the YouTube. And, of course, over on Twitch, all of our social media outlets are in the Twitch bio. You just click on the one you desire to go to because I know not everybody uses every social media. You hear people saying, oh, I don't use TikTok, I don't use Instagram and all that stuff, okay? So you click on the one you desire to go to and help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond, okay? So I was thinking about this the past couple days, right? We're in the month of June. We're about to get into July, July 1st, right around the corner. We're like 3 days away from July 1st because it's June 28th. There's only 30 days in June. So Wednesday will be July 1st, right? And I'm sitting here thinking, like, how excited I'm getting for fantasy football. Okay, I haven't had the best luck in fantasy football the past 2 seasons. Okay, 2 years ago, I finished in last place in my league. Last year, we added 2 more spots to go up to 12 teams because it used to be a 10-team league. Now we're up to 12. I finished in 9th place, which, you think about it, if it was still a 10-man league, I moved 1 spot up from last year or the year before, but we added two other spots. So I finished in 9th, which, right outside of the playoffs. I missed the playoffs by, I think I missed the playoffs by like 3 games, which was rough. It was a weird season anyways, right? So I'm sitting here thinking about fantasy football. Why? Because I play fantasy baseball, and I don't play for money or anything. I actually join a random league on the ESPN fantasy app, right? I join a random league because I don't know anybody that plays fantasy football, fantasy baseball. And I've been playing for the past couple years now. And last year, I missed the playoffs by a half a game. Right? Missed the playoffs by a half a game. Right now in the league I'm in, I'm sitting at 500. I'm 6-6 on the year, which is not bad because I'm tied for fourth place. Now, I'm playing the third place person this week. And if I beat them, I'm 7-6. They move to 7-6. I'm on a 3-week win streak. If I win this week, which it almost looks like I'm going to, I'm up 232 to 190. Okay? So there's a chance that this person can win this week yet because fantasy baseball is kind of weird like that. I already had like a 20-something point lead going into Sunday, and I lost it earlier this year. But if I win, I can move into third place, which is crazy because I'm playing against the third place person. They'll move to 7-6. I'll move to 7-6. They're on a 5-week win streak. I'm on a 3-week win streak. I was 3-6. That's tough. So fantasy baseball's treating me pretty well right now, which puts me in the playoff hunt. Puts me in the playoff hunt right now. So we'll have to see what happens. But I was thinking about fantasy football the other day. And yeah, I'm super excited for it. You know, I start my recruiting, my scouting for fantasy football right after the season ends because you want to keep your mind fresh on stuff like that, especially if you have money involved in everything. Like, I know not everybody takes it serious. I take fantasy football as somewhat serious. I do. Because, yeah, I pay $75 to get in. But the pool to win this thing is massive. Okay? So, yeah, I'm going to take it a little serious. Right? Going to treat it like you own an NFL team. Or a football team, I should say. Not just necessarily the NFL. But I start my scouting at the end of every year. Probably a week after the Super Bowl. And one thing I've never done was draft rookies. I'm not big on drafting rookies because you don't know how things are going to pan out. Okay? And this year, I'm changing my formula. And I feel like it might be a bad move, but I got to figure something out because I got to get back into the playoffs. I got to. I'm on like a 3-year like miss of the playoffs, and it stinks so bad. So I'm thinking about changing the formula up and drafting a rookie this year. Thinking about it. Because again, I'm not big on drafting rookies because you don't know how things are going to end up. And every yard, catch, run, touchdown matters for your defense, obviously. But defense is defense. You got to count on everybody on a team defense. You pick a team defense. And for the most part, I've had a lot of success picking defenses. I'm a defensive guy. I love the defensive side of the ball. Right? Even in Madden and college football, I love playing defense opposed to offense. So I'm thinking about drafting a rookie this year and just kind of seeing what happens. I don't think I'm going to go too overboard with it. I think I'm just going to draft one and just see how things go. Because I gotta think of something to change my formula a little bit. I've been running the same formula with fantasy football for the past 6 years. Ever since I've been in this league. So I got to think of something. I got to come up with something because it's got to get back into the playoffs. And for some reason, I was just all day I was thinking about fantasy football. All day. It was weird. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. You know, I don't know why. But I couldn't. So, yeah. let's get into the news, guys. All right. It's probably not going to be a long show today. We might go an hour. We may not. Just to let you guys know, give you guys a heads up early on here that the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Hub podcast may be on a bye week. Okay. There's a possibility that we may not have a Tuesday edition this week. It's pending because some transitions are being made right now as far as programs being used for where, we do the show. Okay. So, for example, the studio that the show is set up in right now, you got to make a transition into a new studio. So I got to put everything together and everything like that. And I'm hoping to have it done for the Tuesday edition, but there's a possibility I may not. So if the Tuesday edition is not happening, we will be back on Sunday. Okay? So just to give heads up, if you're looking forward to the Tuesday edition, there's a possibility the Tuesday edition may not be happening. If I make any posts, I will announce in the said post when the next episode will be, the next edition. But if not Tuesday, we will definitely be here next Sunday. That's a guarantee. We will be here on July 5th. Okay? So, yeah. So, just wanted to give heads up that the Tuesday edition may not be happening. So, I'll know further on in the next day here whether that will happen or not. But let's get into the news. Terrion Arnold, defensive back of the Detroit Lions, is facing multiple felony charges after being arrested on Wednesday in Tampa, Florida, in connection with robbery and kidnapping. Okay. Now, a hearing will be held on Monday morning in Tampa to determine whether the Lions cornerback will be held in custody pending his trial. Terrion Arnold is facing 4 counts of kidnapping and 4 counts of armed robbery, which carries a potential sentence up to a life in prison. So that's, again, we talk about this all the time. These players, these young players, think before you act. Like, just because you wanted to do this bull crap, now look where it's landing you. Are you kidding me? Too many players are getting arrested, in trouble. And most of them are guys that have been in the league less than 5 years. Like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? Again, you have this big opportunity to play in one of the most prestigious leagues in sports. You're part of the 1%. And you're going out doing stupid stuff and now getting arrested, getting put in jail. You just threw away your whole career if you're found guilty, because this is all alleged. This is all, it's not for sure yet. He's going to have to go through trial and everything like that and all that stuff and try and prove his innocence. So he's innocent until proven guilty. But it's still beside the point. If a player ends up getting past stuff like this, let's say they're not found guilty, okay? If they prove their innocence, that should be a wake-up call telling you to not do stupid stuff. Keep your hands clean. Okay? So, we'll have to see what happens to Terrion Arnold. I mean, this is, number one, a huge hit on the Lions defense, because Terrion Arnold is a big part of the Lions defense. But also, just so stupid, man. It just sucks to hear things like this, because these guys, have such a big opportunity in front of them, and they squander it because they want to make dumb decisions. And then if this is true, kidnapping? You have money, so why do you got to rob? Go buy what you want. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And again, these young players need to learn. They need to stop this stuff. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, again, he's innocent until proven guilty. We'll see what happens with Terry and Arnold. We'll keep up on this story. So, the Buffalo Bills announced that O.J. Simpson, former running back, will not be honored at the Bills' new stadium opening when they honor players from the past. So, O.J. Simpson, I mean, if you don't know, number one, I'm kind of curious on why the Bills are not honoring him, but I have a feeling I know why. And if you don't know why, just go up and look up the O.J. Simpson story. There's TV shows, there's documentaries about it. There's a lot of news about it. Go look it up. I'm not going to talk about it. But they are not honoring him at the new Highmark Stadium opening. So, if you're looking for OJ to be there, he's not going to be there. If OJ Simpson was one of your favorite players, he's not going to be there. So, that was announced yesterday. So, yeah. Tight end of the Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Pitts, got a 3-year, $54 million extension, $36 million guaranteed. I'm going to say this right now. This was a good move for the Falcons. I understand Kyle Pitts has not had the best start to his career, right? He's not living up to the expectations. He didn't have a bad year last year. He had a pretty decent year last year. That's the thing, is he's young. He's new into this league. He's been in the league for, I think he's going into like his fourth season now, I believe. I'm going to say, I don't think he's been in the league that long. But the thing is like, I understand he hasn't had the best start. Okay, he's drafted in 2021, so he's going into his 5th season. Okay. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 6th season, sorry. Okay, I understand he hasn't had the best start to his career. He has 284 catches, 3,579 yards, 15 touchdowns, right? He's a tight end. Tight ends have become more blockers than catchers lately, right? Tight end, I mean, it's not rare, but it's become the thing to where tight ends have become that extra offensive lineman to pick up the run game, to open up the passing game out to wide receivers. Okay. So Kyle Pitts is basically doing what he's expected. Now I get it. Sometimes he gets targets and he drops passes and it's frustrating, but every player drops passes. Okay. I think this is a pretty decent move for the Atlanta Falcons. And now they don't have to go shopping for a tight end. They got him locked up for another 3 years, paid him pretty decent, and the guarantee for $36 million is pretty good. So Kyle Pitts is going to be an Atlanta Falcon for the next 3 seasons. Tight end of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Brenton Strange. He got a 3-year, $48 million extension, $25 million guaranteed. Now, I posted a video about this. A lot of people were very, I want to say they were very vocal about this because Brenton Strange, he was drafted in 2023, 2nd round, 61st overall to Jacksonville. He's been on the team since 2023. He has 91 catches, 986 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Okay. Now I can understand, like, you're not happy because he doesn't even have 1,000 yards catching. Again, The past couple years, it's been about the running backs and it's been about the wide receivers. The tight ends kind of took a back seat to being pass catchers. They became an extra lineman. Okay? So the statistics aren't showing for being in the league 23, 24, 25, 3 seasons going into year number 4. But Jacksonville probably has a plan to add in play calls for the tight ends. And they feel Brenton Strange is a player that can be productive. So they locked him up. Because now if he is productive, they don't have to worry about whether he's going to walk on them or not. Because here's the thing is, let's say he has a big year in 2026, but it's a contract year, right? He knows his worth now. Jacksonville can lose him. They just locked him up. So Jacksonville fans and football fans, don't be so discouraging on this. I think this was a good move for Jacksonville because if Brenton Strange starts picking it up, yeah, you never know. You never know. He could end up being the best tight end this season. His stats can end up flying through the roof, and then Jacksonville's going to be, patting themselves on the back because they know they just got a good tight end for their future. So the 2027 NFL draft dates were announced. The NFL draft will take place in Washington, D.C. on April 29th through May 1st in 2027. So the 2027 NFL draft in Washington, D.C., April 29th through May 1st. Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. So I'm thinking about going to the draft in 2027 in Washington. I am. It's a little closer to home than what Pittsburgh was because Pittsburgh, even though it's in the state of Pennsylvania like I am, is 6 hours. It's a 6-hour drive. Washington, D.C. is about a 3.5-hour drive for me. So I'm going to cut that 3 hours of driving. Yeah, I'd rather cut that 3 hours of driving. So, yeah, I think I might go to the NFL draft in Washington, D.C. in 2027. Because in 2028, it's going to be out in, I believe Minnesota got the 2028 NFL draft. So, yeah, I'm not going to go to Minnesota for the draft. No. I mean, there's some people that do travel for the draft, but, former quarterback of Texas Tech, Brendan Sorsby, as we know, we've been following this story for a long, pretty much since it started. And it was announced on Friday that the Canadian Football League is declining him from letting him play in 2026. So he cannot join any team. They are forbidding every team in their league from signing him. So I talked about this on the show the other week, when this story first really started breaking out of his opportunities in 2026 to play football, right? Left Texas Tech, said he was going to join the NFL supplemental. The NFL said, we ain't doing a supplemental draft this year. Now the Canadian Football League is forbidding him from playing in 2026. His best bet is to try and fight to go back and play for Texas Tech and do it now. Because if you don't, and you expect to join the NFL in 2027 and enter the NFL draft, your draft stock has already started dropping. It has. It has already started dropping. You're already a 4th-round pick right now. At least, at best, a 4th-round pick right now. And now add in the fact you may not take a snap in any football games in 2026. Going out and throwing with your friends and everything like that stuff don't matter. That is not live football. That is you going out to the backyard and tossing the ball around, right? That don't matter. You don't have the defensive pressure on you. And whoever your wide receivers are probably not as quick as the guys you should be throwing to in real time. Best bet, try and get back to Texas Tech. That's your next step. Stop worrying about getting into the NFL this year. Stop worrying about playing for the CFL. And I bet the International Arena Football League is probably going to be like, no. It's a brand new league. They are not going to want to have anything that can jeopardize things. And we know that, hold on. She wanted to join the show today. She's like, Dad, pick me up. But yeah, this kid needs to do something. And I think going back to Texas Tech would be his best bet, or else he ain't going to take a snap in football in 2026. It's not going to happen. I said it the other week. Said it. Slim chances for Brendan Sorsby. Wide receiver of the San Francisco 49ers, Brandon Ayuk. Now you're probably thinking, hold on, Mike. He's not in San Francisco. Yes, he is. Still on the roster. They haven't released him. They haven't traded him. They have no plans of rushing to do so either. Why? Because Coach Shanahan the other day in a press conference said that they are in no hurry to make that move. And Brandon Ayuk has been, he made it very clear that he wants to be a Washington Commander in about 3 of his posts this week. Now, the question is would Washington give up what San Francisco wants? Because San Francisco is going to want to get something good out of it. They're losing. I mean, are they losing money realistically? No, because they declined his guarantees. So they're not really losing money, but they're losing a player. Brandon Ayuk can produce. Okay, it just so happens he got hurt. He was out for the whole year last year. And things just went downhill from there. And now we're in the situation of Brandon Ayuk wants out of San Francisco. Now, maybe they think they can fix the relationship with him. I don't know. But he's made it very clear he wants to be in Washington. She has this thing where if I do this, she starts falling asleep. And you can see she's starting to fall asleep. Yeah, did you just want Dad? Huh? I got to finish the show, okay? And then we hang out. Okay. Now she'll go lay down. She just wanted me for a minute. So we'll have to see what happens with Brandon Ayuk. I mean, I don't blame San Francisco for wanting to just keep him on the roster. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. And if they want to try and fix the relationship, then so be it. Never hurts to try. Last but not least, a list of so there are a couple of writers at NFL.com who made a top pass catching combo list for 2026. Okay, so they made a top 4. And here's who they think is the best pass catching combo for 2020 going into the 2026 NFL season. Number 1, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase of the Cincinnati Bengals. I can't disagree with this. I can't. Joe Burrow coming back, he's going to be healthy. Jamar Chase expected all the time to have a big year. I could see this being on that list. I can't argue that. Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua of the Los Angeles Rams. Another one. I can't argue this either because they are a really good pass-catching combo. You can also put Devontae Adams in there. But it was shown that Devontae Adams, he was more, he caught passes out in the open, but he was more of that inside the red zone wide receiver, which there's nothing wrong with that. He's catching touchdowns for this team. And they broke records. Any way to score, right? Who cares? Still did it. So you can either pick Puka or Devontae. So Drake May and A.J. Brown of the New England Patriots. This one I disagree with. Reason being is because A.J. Brown just got there. We have not seen what Drake May and A.J. Brown as a pass-catch combo can do yet. Now, let's say we get halfway through the season and another list comes out, and let's say Drake May has, 2,500 passing yards and 1,100, or let's be a little more realistic. Let's say 750 of those are to A.J. Brown. or even 800 is to A.J. Brown. Then I'll sit there and say, okay, Drake May and A.J. Brown are on this list. Now, I get it. The consensus of looking at it, Drake May is a really good passer. A.J. Brown, we know, can catch the ball and do other things. But we haven't seen them in live action yet. This is one I would disagree with until I see what they can do in live action. Because even right now at OTAs, there's no pressure. Okay? They're just literally going out there and playing catch in a sense. I know that's not what they're doing, but that's what they're doing at the same time. They're just going out in the backyard and playing catch right now. I want to see what happens in live action. Simple as that. So this one I would take off the list. CJ Stroud and Nico Collins, I'm 50-50 on this one. I'm 50-50 on this one. We know Nico Collins can catch the ball and do things. But I don't know. I mean, I believe Nico Collins coming off an injury. He was out for a while last year, I believe. I mean, I'm 50-50 on this one. I mean, in the past, they've proven they could be a good pass-catch combo. But this one, I'm 50-50 on. I can't say whether I agree or disagree on it. I can't. So, but that's it for the news, guys. We're going to get into the player spotlight segment. I'm Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is our next player spotlight segment. We're going to take about 30 to 45 seconds here on the Huddle Up Podcast. We'll be back right after this. All right, guys, make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Up Podcast over on social media after the show today, over on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that follow button. Over on the YouTube, you're going to hit that subscribe button. That's how you follow on the YouTube. Over on Twitch, you're going to hit follow as well. All of our social media bios are in the Twitch bio. You just click on the one you desire to go to. I know not everybody uses every social media. I talked to somebody the other day. They were like, oh, I'm not really big on TikTok. I get it. But you click on the one you desire to go to and help us build the Huddle podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. Okay, guys. I love Night Drive. I love that song. I love the beat. Like, I say it all the time. I really wish put lyrics to it. That'd be great. Somebody just put lyrics to it. And I think you can do it. I do. I'm just waiting for somebody to tell me, Mike, there's AI things out there that you can, like, play music on. So, you know. I know. But I don't want to create an AI music thing. I don't. I really don't. All right, player spotlight segment today. We are doing our first defensive player, and I think it's fitting that this player is part of the player spotlight segment, and that is defensive end currently of the Los Angeles Rams, Myles Garrett. So we are going to do it and give him about 20 seconds here. We're going to get ourselves set up. Good to go. Because I edit these videos and then I put the player spotlight segment on the YouTube channel, which you can go over to the player spotlight segment section of the YouTube channel right now. Larry Fitzgerald is up. Marshall Faulk went live yesterday. Myles Garrett will be live probably by noontime Tuesday. Unless I decide to do it tonight and put it together, it'll be up by tomorrow. So we'll see. On this edition of the Player Spotlight segment, we are highlighting defensive end currently of the Los Angeles Rams, Myles Garrett. Yes, our first defensive player of the Player Spotlight segment. So let's get into Myles Garrett. He is a defensive end out of the University of Texas Tech. He was drafted back in 2017 in the first round, pick number 1 to the Cleveland Browns. And he spent his first... Oh, man, I messed up. Wow. Wow, did I mess up. All right, our start time. I got to write down the start time here. Okay. Here we go. On today's edition of the Player Spotlight segment, we are highlighting defensive end currently of the Los Angeles Rams, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is out of Texas Tech University. He was drafted back in 2017 in the first round, pick number 1 to the Cleveland Browns, where he spent his first 9 seasons. So let's get into the career of Myles Garrett first. Again, he was drafted. Oh, man. Wow, did I mess up? I messed up again. He's out of Texas A&M, not Texas Tech. Oh, my gosh. Wow. The intro was good. Bad part is I got the college wrong. Wow. Okay. Let's try this again, right? So why you trying to do this thing right? All right. Start in 5 seconds. On today's edition of the Player Spotlight segment, we are highlighting defensive end currently of the Los Angeles Rams, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is out of Texas A&M University. He was drafted in 2017 in the first round, pick number 1 overall to the Cleveland Browns, where he spent his first 9 seasons. So let's get into the career of Myles Garrett. Again, drafted out of Texas A&M University in 2017, round 1, pick 1 to the Cleveland Browns. His college awards and accomplishments. He was a unanimous All-American in 2016, a first-team All-American in 2015. He was a first-team All-SEC in 2015 and 2016, a second-team All-SEC in 2014, and he won the Bill Willis Trophy in 2015. Those were his college awards and accomplishments. Let's get into the NFL awards and accomplishments so far in his career. He won NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2023 and in 2025. He was a first-team All-Pro in 2020, 2021, and 2023 through 2025. Okay, so first-team All-Pro a couple times, which is fitting. Myles Garrett, one of the best defensive players in the NFL today, and still running strong. Second-team All-Pro in 2018 and 2022. He got voted to the Pro Bowl in 2018 and 2020 through 2025. Okay, so most of his career, the only time he missed the Pro Bowl was in 2017 and 2019. It's crazy. 2 times, that's it. So 7 years he made the Pro Bowl out of the first 9. He won the Deacon Jones Award in 2025, and he was voted the PFWA Rookie of the Year in 2017. The records that he currently holds in the NFL, he holds the single-season sack record that he broke in 2025 with 23 sacks. Okay? So TJ Watt and Michael Strahan both shared the single-season sack record with 22.5, and Myles Garrett broke that in 2025 with getting 23 sacks. Okay? And he also holds the record for most consecutive seasons with 12 or more sacks. 6 seasons straight that he's had 12 or more sacks. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, let's get into ranking. It's the only thing left to do is ranking his stats, his career, his seasons so far. Okay. So first off, he has played in 134 games so far in his career, 412 total tackles, 293 solo, 119 assisted. He has 125.5 sacks in his career with 23 forced fumbles and 6 recoveries. In the playoffs, he played in 3 playoff games in his career. He has 6 total tackles, 5 solo, 1 assisted, and 1 sack. Let's start ranking his seasons. Okay, so again, 9 seasons in his career. He's about to play season number 10 in Los Angeles with the Rams. As we know, he was traded to the Los Angeles Rams in the 2026 NFL offseason. And in that trade, a couple of draft picks were made in that trade. Jarrett Verse getting traded from the Rams to the Browns. So now Myles Garrett is going to wear the number 95 in Los Angeles for the Rams in 2026. But let's rank his seasons so far. Starting at number 9. This is from worst to best. And number 9 would be his worst season. 2017 was his worst season. He only had 31 tackles, 19 solo, 12 assisted, 7 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 recovery. And this is the only year that he had less than 10 sacks. Now, if you remember earlier in the player spotlight segment, he holds the record for the most consecutive seasons with 12 or more sacks, with 6. He's only played 9 years. So this was one of the seasons he didn't have 12 sacks. Another season he didn't have 12 sacks was in 2019. This is number 8. 29 tackles, 20 solo, 9 assisted. He had 10 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. Okay. At number 7, 2020, he had 48 tackles, 33 solo, 15 assisted. He had 12 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 2 recoveries. So this is where it starts, the 12 or more sacks record. Yeah. At number 6, 2018, he had 44 tackles, 35 solo, 9 assisted. He had 13.5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles. At number 5, the 2024 season, 47 total tackles, 40 solo, 7 assisted. He had 14 sacks on the year and 3 forced fumbles. At number 4, 2023, he had 42 total tackles, 33 solo, 9 assisted, and he had 14 sacks. He had 4 forced fumbles and 1 recovery. Why do I feel like I just messed up? I feel like I just messed up. We're going to start the rankings over, okay? We're going to start the rankings over, So there are the So there are the awards and accomplishments for Myles Garrett through his college and NFL career. Let's get into ranking his seasons. As you know, we rank his seasons from worst to best. First off, let's give you his full stats. Myles Garrett played 134 games in his NFL career, 412 total tackles, 293 solo, 119 assisted. He has 125.5 sacks in his career, 23 forced fumbles, and 6 recoveries. In the playoffs, he played in 3 playoff games. He has 6 total tackles, 5 solo, 1 assisted, and he has 1 sack in the playoffs. So let's start ranking his seasons from worst to best, starting off with the 2017 season at number 9. Had 31 total tackles, 19 solo, 12 assisted. He had 7 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 recovery. And that is that is his only season that he had under 10 sacks. Because in 2019, which is number 8, he had 29 total tackles, 20 solo, 9 assisted. He had 10 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. Okay. At number 7, the 2020 season. This was the first year that he started his run with the 12-plus sacks, okay? So he has those consecutive seasons with 12-plus sacks. And in 2020, he had 48 tackles, 33 solo, 15 assisted. He had 12 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 1 recovery. At number 6 in 2018, 44 total tackles, 35 solo, 9 assisted. He had 13.5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles, okay? At number 5, 2014, he had 47 total tackles, 40 solo, 7 assisted. He had 14 sacks and 3 forced fumbles. 2 straight years. Okay, and this is the cool thing is his pattern with sacks was on a consistency. Okay, because then this is what I mean. At number 4, the 2023 season. Now in 2024, he had 14 sacks. Well, the year before that in 2023, which is number 4, on the rankings, he had 42 total tackles, 33 solo, 9 assisted. He had another year with 14 sacks. Okay, 4 forced fumbles and 1 recovery. So 2 straight years with 14 sacks. At number 3, the 2021 season, he had 51 total tackles, 33 solo, 18 assisted, and he had 16 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 recovery. We stayed consistent because at number 2, the 2022 season, he had 60 total tackles, 37 solo, 23 assisted. Second year in a row with 16 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. And now let's get into his best season of his career, which is the obvious, right? The obvious one, 2025. The record-breaking year. He had 60 total tackles, 43 solo, 17 assisted, and the record-breaking 23 sacks with 3 forced fumbles. So that is the ranking for Myles Garrett career. And that is the player spotlight segment on defensive end, currently of the Los Angeles Rams. Myles Garrett. Hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, guys. Awesome. Love it. Love it to the player spotlight segment. First defensive player, Myles Garrett, in the books. I have a good idea on who the next player spotlight is going to be on. Like I said, the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Hub podcast may not be happening this week because of the transition of studios and everything like that. Got to get everything set up, everything in line. But if everything is set up by Tuesday, then we'll roll on Tuesday. If not, it will be an off day. Tuesday may be an off day. And I was thinking about it anyways. I much deserve an off day. So Tuesday might just be that day. The other thing is, too, is we'll see what transpires throughout the next 2 days, the news coming out and everything. Okay. That's the other thing that's going to be a factor. And if there's going to be really anything to talk about in the next 2 days for Tuesday. So we'll determine that. But if anything changes, let's just put it this way. Count on me being here on Tuesday. Okay. Count on me being here on Tuesday. And if anything, if I'm not here on Tuesday, then you know I'm off. Okay. I don't think I have to make any special announcement or anything. Just count on me being here. And if I'm not here, then that means we're on an off day and we'll be back on Sunday. Okay. If you guys want to follow me on social media, Metal Mike 714 is where you can find me. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and X. Metal Mike 714, that's where you can find me. And of course, go follow the Huddle Hub Podcast over on social media on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that follow button on YouTube. You're going to hit the subscribe button. And of course, follow on the Twitch channel. All of our social media links are in the bio of the Twitch channel. Click on the one you desire to go to and help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. Again, guys, might be here Tuesday. Just count on me being here. If not, then we'll be back on Sunday. Okay? Simple as that. And it's all going to determine on what the news is going to be like as well, stuff to talk about and everything. So other than that, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until the next episode, whether it's Tuesday or whether it's Sunday, we'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys. Deuces.